The following video you are about to see is just my personal opinion. If you don't agree with the following changes, that is fine. This is all just for fun. Please be respectful. Thank you.
Hey, Salty here, and welcome to another episode of Can We Fix It? And today we'll be looking at 6 cards from Promises by Firelight. Like, I love campaigns, but the thing I really hate about campaigns sometimes is that you buy the cards, and then it turns out you can't even play half of the cards, because they're just not good. And they might only be good when with newer sets come out, because with cards will synergize with it, but half the time that's not the case. Like, it just feels like a ripoff, you know? But anyways, enough about that. Let's just look at the first card, shall we? Which is... I have another tab. Ixtol, Champion of Groove. I found this card. It has a neat ability, but I find it too slow, you know? And this passive is useful when an enemy unit dies, plays a random power card from your deck. That can be good, but it's kind of late by that. You're already in late game at 6 mana, and sure, you're supposed to ramp, but when you play him, he'll just die by the next turn by a simple spell card, or even get silenced, and then he's just useless, you know? Like, the only suggestion I would say to change for this card would be to do this. Okay. First off, we would make it a 4 cost, not 5. Next, and then we just change all this. Pretty much, he still has the same passive effect, almost, but the cards that play when an enemy unit dies are depleted to make it more fair, and Fate gain Killer if you have 8 maximum power. Oh. Killer. Like, I decided to go like this, so you can play him faster, right? Like, if he was just... Because, like, I find it much better if you play him, like, on turn 4, and if you get some units killed, then you can ramp a little bit. Sure, like, that's a little unfair, but I think 6 is just pushing it. And he could still die, but if he survives early enough, then it's much better for you. Like, if we want to make it a little bit more balanced, maybe why not just set it for 5? Then it'll be like that one card, the Gunslinger with the in power effect. And for the whole killer thing, he seems like he's a guy who's always trying to set up a fight with somebody. So why not give him killer? He seems like a card that would want killer, or at least the character wise. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that. So let's talk about the next card, shall we? Okay, now we're looking at Aali, Champion of Kodosh. Like, this card I thought was kind of cool, but it's really weak. It's because, sure, its passive can be strong, like attack and health equal to your highest relic cost, but relics, there's not that many good relics to play, and it's kind of slow, so if you're lucky, you can probably get her to be a 5/5. And her passive here, flying while you have 8 strength or more, that's rarely gonna happen. Like, when are you gonna have play? That's good. That's like late game crap. Like, I'm sorry, that's true. I don't think that's ever gonna happen. And then we have the summon effect. You may silent an enemy unit with 4 attack or strength or less. Like, that's just a shittier version of Valkyrie Enforcer. You know, the 3/3/3 flying, silent an enemy unit. Like, why would you ever want to play this? Because I would never want to play this. I'd rather just play a Valkyrie Enforcer. Because it already has flying, you can silent a unit. And at least you know what its stats are going to be, most of the time. Like, this is how I would have changed it. Okay. Give me a sec. And it's doing this weird thing again. Okay. Pretty much same passive. Pretty much, I forgot to switch that. Change that to a 6. Make that a little bit easier. But what mainly changes, you may silent an enemy unit and stun if they have 4 attack or more. Which makes it much better. It's a legendary, for God's sake. Make it have a fancy silent effect, you know? Like, make it silent anything, but stun a unit if it's really strong. Like, that's a good way to get around, right? Like, I understand not all cards can be playable, but what's the point of making these then? What's the point of making this a legendary? It's just a waste of space. But that's enough about that. Let's look at the next card. Next, we're looking at Kuro, Champion of Makkar. If I'm even pronouncing any of that right, I'm not good at these names. He's fine. He's okay, but he just needs a little bit more because it just seems like his abilities don't really work well. Like your curses are fast and draw 3 units from the void. Like, what's that all about? They should be more related to each other. So I think all he needs is just one extra effect, which is why does it do that? A summon effect. You may discard a unit and draw a curse equal to its cost or less. I think that would be more fair because then it would make its mastery much better. And the whole curses are fast. Like, at least you can draw the unit you used to get that curse in the first place. It might be a little bit more, a little overpowered, but I think it's pretty much fun. More synergy with it. Anyways, let's look at our fourth card. This card, man. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, this is just a piece of shit right here. Like, sure, enemy players can't spellcraft seems nice, but the master, when are you ever gonna pull this shit off? Like, a 2/5, you probably, and it's a 5 cost card. You would probably not be able to do any like. There's so many scenarios. Like, they could have a few. Probably the weapon will be destroyed next turn by, I don't know, by a huge field of units, or maybe the units are really high stats. Like, I don't know what they were trying to go for with this card. Just another waste of space, and this is how I think they should change it. Okay, sec. Just by adding one extra ability. Pretty much, it gains +1 attack when you decimate. Because paladins are all about decimate. So it would make sense, while this is in your hand or in your deck, when you play a decimate card, it gains an attack. So at least if you decimate, around technically 4 times, you get to be able to pull off the mastery just like that if you attack a weak unit or something, right? But we know that's not going to happen, but that's how it should have been done. So yeah, enough about that. Let's look at our next card. Okay, now we're looking at Ixtol's Pendants. Like, this card seemed like a neat idea. Like, free maximum power, but then all your cards in your hand cost 3. I tried making a few decks with this, but I did not realize that you can only play one. It limited how many cards you can play in your hand because each card costs 3 extra. So the idea of this was to be used for a warp deck more like, but it's hard to get one of those decks off. I tried making a warp deck too. Didn't turn out that great. Sure, maybe I had some funny moments, but still not the greatest. So I say what make this card more playable, in my personal opinion, or more fun. You guys might think this might be a little OP, but we just give it this effect. Decimate. Give your top 3 cards warp. Like, a card like this is obviously supposed to improve, it's supposed to be used for a warp deck. Why not just have a decimate effect to give, for now, let's just say 3. You can make it less. Cards have warp. Like, and let's say you already played a power that turn, and the first card on top is a power. You wouldn't be able to play that card anyways, right? And the next 2 cards, you might still not have enough mana. Sure, you have, like, let's say you do decimate on turn 2. That's like 4 mana. Sure, that's a decent amount of cards to play, but you're still not going to be able to play a 6-cost card or anything like that, right? So I think this would see a lot more play if we did it like this. But who knows? Maybe someone can actually make a better warp deck out there, but not right now. Let's look at our final card, shall we? And finally, we have Zealous Artisan. Like, when they first announced this card, I liked it. I thought it was cool. Where you get to play a weapon from your hand and attach it to her when you play her, but I also realized she's not really that good, because if you don't have any weapons in your hand, you just played a really shitty free for 5. Sure, it has Exalted, but not really worth it. Doesn't give you any battle skills or anything. At least there's a 5 cost Exalted 2-1 that gives you flying. And sure, that's more for drafting, but I would say that's better than this. Like, all I think they should do is add the following. Fate, create and draw a weapon, and that's it. I wrote down 2+2. Maybe make it a 5/5. Make it a 5/5 for 5, but it could be a 1+1 weapon. Like, so then when you play her, you can equip that weapon to her. Or if you're feeling really aggressive or want to help with Akko's mastery, you can equip that weapon to him instead, right? Which would make it much more. This would make this card much more playable and fun. And I would love to see at least another card like this in the future if they're not going to change it at all to this. But anyways, those are my opinions on those 6 cards, and I hope you enjoyed it. If not, just leave a comment in below and tell me how you would have changed it. And anyways, hope to see you next time. Thank you for watching. Bye.